You're watching Pyro Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't, 'cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had my ways. I found your matrix and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win this, it's a part of the game. In the beginning I just didn't know that you're an enemy I held too close.
Hello, Pyro Media family. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey, y'all. I was about to say, it's your #1 nail artist, but that's not that video. I'm like, my bad. Come on, get it together. Come on, Nicole, get it straight. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday, Junior. I am Dr. Nicole D. Vick. And if you did not know, I am a vibe. I don't know if you can see my shirt, y'all, but it says, I am a vibe. Hey. And this is true. I am. I am a vibe. Anyway, y'all, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for visiting me this week. As you know, every single week, I come to you live to share with you important topics in the Black community from a social justice perspective. Like, that's just how I do things. That's just how I see the world. So therefore, that's how I'm going to bring this to you. The way that I see it, that's how it's going to come out in the world, okay? Now, it's officially Women's History Month. We're getting toward the end of it. But, you know, I like to call it Black Women's History Month because I am Black. And that's just how I see things, too. So I have the social justice lens, the Black people lens. What other lenses do I have? And listen, as a woman, I have realized that I have entered my auntie era. I am no longer a spring chicken. I know that comes as a surprise to some of y'all, but I'm older. I'm not going to say old. I'm going to say older. Okay. And I feel like I am coming across women that can be my child. That could be they could be old enough to be or young enough to be my own kid. And I'm like, hey, what is happening? What is going on? I don't like it. But at the same time, I do. Like, I really embrace aging, the gray. I didn't hide it. I'm not hiding it. I'm letting it grow out because I feel like it's important to share your lived experience and your wisdom with the younger generation, because one day we're not going to be here and y'all going to have to figure it out, and good luck to you because, baby, it's a lot going on. Anyway, I was prompted to bring on my kiddo. Her name is Andréa, because I was like, you know what? I know what I think about what's happening in society in regards to the 92% of Black women that said, you know what? we did our assignment. We understood it. Y'all messed it up. We leaving. But I wonder what she thinks because she's, about 20 years younger than I am. She's not a baby, but she's old enough, where I'm like, I just wonder how she sees things. And so I want to bring her on. She is a old Gen Z young millennial. That's what it's called. Because she's kind of like me, where we sort of are in between eras. I am a young Gen X, old millennial. Like I'm almost a millennial. If I was born maybe 2 years later than I was, I would actually be a millennial. So I'm right at the edge of two generations, and so is she. And so I'm really curious to feel her out on where her perspective is on all this stuff that's going on ever since the election and moving forward, and sort of, does she even know that there was a collective, like, we not doing nothing? Do she know that? Like, I don't think I've ever talked to her about that. So let's bring on the kiddo, aka Andréa. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. That's crazy.
And you said it just right after I said it. So I'm like, you crazy.
It was like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, twin. First of all, happy early birthday. Your birthday is in 6 days. Oh my gosh. I remember the day you were born because I was there.
I was too, but I don't remember.
And it was wild because I was only in labor for 3 hours. I don't know what happened, but when I got to the doctor, first of all, let's just real quick. First of all, you were 8 weeks early. Somebody decided they was trying to come out now. And I remember, I think I shared with you a meme, like you came when you were supposed to. I forgot what it said, but it was like, that is so appropriate. I think Andréa was like, I got to come out here and save my mama because child.
I've always been impatient, I guess.
So you was 8 weeks early. We didn't know you was coming. I just knew that I had pain. And I was like, mama, because I still lived at home. I was a teen mom, y'all. Yes, I was. I was like, mama, my stomach hurt. I don't know what's going on. And I went to the hospital. And by the time the doctor came, he was like, you having this child today. And I was like, but she not due till May. She's supposed to be a Taurus. No, baby.
Well, thank goodness I wasn't a Taurus. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm like, what did a Taurus ever do? Well, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, do we really want to revisit that? No.
So anyway, the point of this episode, I want to know from you. You always have known that I value your opinion, your thoughts on a lot of things because you're young enough. Well, now you're actually getting old, so I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy.
Old. However, you're getting old. I told my coworker yesterday, you're getting older, but I'm not getting older. I'm the same age, and you're
like that Virgo fantasy land you be in. That's what that sound like.
Anyway. So you're Gen Z / millennial. You are a young millennial, old Gen Z, right? And I just wonder I want to hear your perspective on this whole thing in lieu of this being Women's History Month, the whole thing about the 92% and all that. And I just want to hear your perspective on what's going on in politics without really getting extra political, but I just want to hear your perspective. So let's just start. Let's just go. First question. Growing up in our household, what messages did you hear about voting and political engagement? Did we talk about voting?
I mean, you was always like, vote, vote, vote. That's really it. It was just always go vote. Like you were big on that, but I feel like that was it. Like, and then you always just kind of like did it for me. And you were like, okay, put this in this.
That's actually like a federal, like that's against the law. Don't say that.
Well, not like did it for me, but like you would like encourage.
Okay, I'm like, ooh, you about to take me out of handcuffs. You already know what administration we in. I'm gonna get handcuffed over here.
Not like that, but like she would like, kind of inform me on like specific things so that because I feel like if I had just did it myself, I'd be like, oh no, I'm just gonna circle something. But because I guess I just feel like I didn't really, I don't know. I guess when things don't directly affect, as a kid especially, like if they don't directly affect me, I don't know. So when I got
Yeah.
to a point like 18, you know, it's like, okay, well, I need help. And so you would just help with that kind of stuff. But other than that, I feel like things wasn't really. And then, well, yeah, because my dad, on the other hand, he's like super, like, he has his own conspiracies. I don't know what he be on. So we don't explore that. Yeah. So I don't know.
And do you still vote now? Do you, or have you, I mean, because you have left, you don't live in the same state that I live in. You are in a different state. So, but I don't know if you've officially embraced your state yet, because I don't think you voted in your state yet.
I don't think I could. I don't know if I have to re-register. I don't know. I
Yes.
honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I think it happened so fast that I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I'm so used to you like kind of like pushing for me to do it. So I just was like, do I
And
just
what do I always tell you? That this one here is not going to always be here. So therefore you
ooh
are going to need to
yeah.
kind of figure your stuff out. So yes, you have to re-register. So let's make sure we do that in your state. So those of y'all that are, you know, the old millennial, the old Gen Z, new millennial, you have to re-register. If you move, you have to re-register to vote. Okay. So all right, when you hear that 92% of Black women collectively made a political decision, right? We voted a certain way. We understood the assignment. We was on the group project and we did our part, but the rest of the country didn't. And so now Black women are like, however the chips fall, baby, that's how they fall. Do you feel a sense of unity? Do you feel a sense of pressure? What do you feel when you hear stuff like that?
Definitely, I guess unity with other Black women, but maybe like kind of, I guess the word is betrayed, or I feel kind of like, you know, like we're kind of alone in our the ones that are advocates, but like, you know, just kind of alone in that. Like I feel like we just kind of just be talking to walls, and I think we always kind of known that. But yeah, I just feel like we're alone. That's it. I don't know how else to put it. We just alone. So like when we be sitting here making think pieces and certain points and stuff, it's just like if we don't jump in them comments and cape for each other, ain't nobody gonna do it. That's just how I feel. And I think at this point though, like we have to, there's still a lot of us that are like outraged and kind of like trying to make these think pieces, and very rightfully so outraged. But like I think some of us are, we still like, I'm like, okay, it's all right, don't say nothing else. Like you don't have to educate nobody. Like we always, because we're always responsible for educating everybody else. People are always like, well, let me pick your brain. Don't pick my brain, don't pick mine, go pick your own brain, pick yours, because then we wouldn't be here. Pick your brain. Yeah.
Go
So
read a book. Go do some research, right? Like you figure this out. Don't leave it up to us. I feel you on that. And do you think because of that, what we're experiencing right now in this point in time in history, do you think your political views have evolved at all?
yeah, I mean, like there are certain, I guess I can see certain things for different angles. I'm not gonna say that I agree with the one that we're, you know what I'm saying. I'm not agreeing with like the right side. I'm not agreeing with them because that's kind of crazy. But then there are certain things I can see different angles of things. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like now being into it, I kind of understand like I guess more, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense, but I understand
No, you
more
are.
like certain decisions are made. But then I also, from a certain degree, when I look at things now, like I kind of feel like this is all just a game, and it kind of doesn't even really like involve us as much as they want to make it seem like it does. And so I think that's the other reason why I now understand some of the stuff my dad be saying. He would love to hear that, but sometimes I feel like, yeah, they kind of playing us. It's almost like vote so we can see what you do want, so we can go against what you want. Like, because I'm just like, why is everything that is happening right now literally the most insane stuff that no one's ever thought about in years, all of a sudden it's back? Like, why are we talking about segregation again? Why are we talking about like all that kind of stuff that I keep hearing? I'm just like, okay, I'm not sure where this came from. But yeah, I don't know. I have some, some opinions on some stuff, but I'm like, they get a little controversial. But yeah,
Yeah, it's very interesting, and we're going to go to commercial in a little bit. But one of the things I'm thinking about while you're talking is, well, all I can think about and have been thinking about is, daggone it, our ancestors. I think about your great grandmother who you never met, and even your maternal grandmother who you never met, like, and even Grandpa Neil, like, did they go through what they went through in their life for us literally to be right back where they were? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're supposed to be evolving, and I feel like we're literally reliving sort of that generation that I'm talking about, Grandpa Neil, Mother Dear, all them. Like, we're literally living like they were, but in 2025. Like, that's wild to me. I don't know if you ever thought that, but that's wild.
yeah. But at the same time, I also don't really feel like I feel like stuff didn't change. It just kind of like was more covert. Like, if you think about, for example, when I guess somebody was talking about he's trying to segregate again, and my thinking was, okay, well, at least now we will know where we don't belong instead of us going places we don't belong and spending our Black dollars where we don't belong. Now I know not to go to Target because Target don't want me. So if Target put up a whites only sign, cool, I wasn't shopping at Target, no way. But it's like, the way it was before, it was just like it was covered up. So it was like you was up in there, but then you getting followed around the store and you're not understanding why, but that's because they don't want you in there. So I don't know. It's like, to some degree, I'm like, I think stuff like this never really went away. It's just like, now they're free to just be, yay, I can be racist. And it's like, I guess. I mean, but then again, also, we not our ancestors, so you can get beat up. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, our ancestors did what they had to do too, though. So
I think a lot of the only thing that I would say that is different is that our ancestors probably didn't feel supported like the same way. Because I can go and record something like somebody being racist to me and post it up, and that person might lose their job. But like back then, we weren't able to record. Obviously, y'all wasn't. Well, I'm not gonna say y'all like that, but like they wasn't recording stuff, and they didn't really have that support, because if somebody else seen them, one of them getting attacked, they probably would just be like, oh, that's not my business. But I feel like now it's kind of a little more, you have like just kind of more power with numbers and stuff. So
yeah, very interesting. And I think we'll touch on social media and the impact of that when we come back. But let's go to break. And when we come back, we got some old conversation. This is good.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
What's going on, y'all? It's Kwame Speaks from Kwame Speaks Live, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
And we're back. Woo woo. I'm here with my kiddo, Andréa Hamilton. She is I keep messing it up, an older Gen Z, younger millennial. So you right in the middle. Because when I was looking at the years, it was like one ended at 1996 and one started in 1997. I'm like, you right there. You right in the middle. So real cool. And I mean, you've been saying some really, really like some gems. You've been dropping gems. I don't know if you realize it. I'm like, you done said a few things like what? I mean, even what you just left off over the commercial about sort of the power of social media, that things have kind of shifted now for us because maybe, you know, in our ancestors' time, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have TikTok, they didn't have Instagram to record, you know, people's shenanigans. And then, you know, there was almost like an immediate reaction, like, okay, you want to be cray cray, you actually gonna end up being unemployed. So I feel like we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what I want to ask you right now is, do you think that Black women in your generation today, so think about you, your friends, feel more empowered or more disillusioned by the political system? And you kind of touched on it because you were like, actually, this all feels like a game, all of it, both sides. So I wonder how you feel.
I guess. So the question is if we feel more empowered or
yeah, which one? Are you feeling like this political system, we can do it, or you're like, you know what, this is all a game, this is some BS, this is crazy?
Disillusion.
Like,
I mean, it's definitely disillusioned. I mean, because it's like, I guess we know that we make up less of the population, but it's just like, you would think that with all the people who saw how things went before were the same ones that are voting now, like what happened? Like, I just don't understand. So I don't know. It's obvious that there's like, even if everybody was to vote one way, if, you know, the ones that are in the positions of power don't agree, then it doesn't matter. So it's just like, what's the point? I get it. I get why they do. I mean, and, you know, I think that even with like people voting, it's just kind of like, yeah, I guess still do it to make it, you know, to kind of do your part, or to, I don't know. And even then, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like, I don't know, like what what part are we doing really, honestly?
right, what,
So,
like, what is the reason, the Cardi B, what is the reason type, you know,
especially
situation?
because, yeah, like we do we vote for one, and then it's like something crazy happens, and it's like each time something really wild happens, it's almost just reminds me of like everything being like, you know how like celebrities and stuff, like they have relationships that are staged. Everything just feels like a big play or stage. Reminds me of what's the movie? It's a movie. I'll
I'll say
think
the
about
Matrix.
No, there's a movie. I don't know the name. The guy from birth is being like observed. Like he's like born into this simulation. His whole life is in this simulation. He doesn't realize it until a certain point where he goes crazy. But then when he goes crazy, everyone's looking at him like, why are you tripping? And like he finds out like, y'all have been watching me my whole life and making things happen for me on purpose to see what I'll do. And I was just like, man, that's
Okay,
what
yeah.
the plight of the black man, because I feel like that's what it is. We being watched. They put stuff, you know, like stuff is being put into the, I won't say the hood because I feel like, oh my gosh, that's like so hoteppy, but like
But
they put stuff
it's
into our,
true.
yeah, like put stuff
It's
into
true.
the,
Guns,
how we respond to
crack.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, are you lying? No.
I thought about it
Are
today at
you?
the beauty supply too. I was like at the beauty supply, and I'm like, they over here playing like hip hop music, but ain't nobody black working here. I was like, I could just see somebody in a back room looking on the camera, like, let's play this and see who start dancing in here. Oh, okay. Like, you know, like I feel like it's all a social experiment in some crazy way. I'm not like that paranoid to feel like, oh, like everybody's watching us, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be far off to think that is my point. So
I mean, I totally get it. And going back even to the beauty supply, I don't know if you watched my last episode, or was it the last one or the one before, where they're finding out, and this is another side story, conspiracy like rabbit hole, that the dang on synthetic hair in the beauty supply has benzene, lead, and all these other toxic chemicals in it. So it's like it is almost like we are being assaulted on so many different levels, politically, economically, socially, and you can't even wear your hair how you want to wear it, and you're sitting here absorbing this stuff into your skin, and it's also impacting your health. So I'm with you. Like, I'm like you said, I'm not there like totally conspiracy theorist, but I'm like, something in the what does Tamar say? Something in the milk ain't clean. Well, it's like, right.
Yeah, I mean, Church's Chicken. I remember, I don't know if you heard about them. Like they was using like bad, like they were using like the worst of the worst type of stuff because they knew that like they didn't have to. It was some story about a white person who lived in like, I think they lived near churches or like in the hood or something, but their parents wouldn't let them eat there because the dad knew somebody that, like kind of, it was some story like that basically. And long story short, he wasn't allowed to eat it because they knew the chicken was bad and that they was given like the ones with the hormones and all the bad chicken and probably not even chicken. So but they knew that black people like chicken. So
Is the Ralph's grocery store. We were talking about food access last Friday, and some of these grocery stores you walk into, like, why is the food expired? Why are the vegetables rotten? Why is so again, like you said, I'm not all the way up to that level of conspiracy person, but at the same time, I'll be side-eyeing a lot of stuff. How has social media shaped your political awareness and the way you engage with political issues?
I'm hyper aware. I don't want to be like, it's points where I'm like, please, I won't even go on social media because every time you go on social media, it's like, oh, this has happened today. This is going on. Oh, this is a new bill that's gonna be passed. I'm like, dude, can I just like, like I'll be on there happy and then my smile just fade away. I'm like, oh. And then there's days where I won't even go on social media. And now my phone sends me notifications about news and stuff. And I'm like, so you're chasing me now, basically, because I wasn't even on here. And now y'all telling me what's going on. So I
That's
think
interesting.
yeah, I think on the one hand, you don't feel so alone in your views. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't want to talk about this today. And it's, of course, kind of bad because we're living it. So it's like you kind of have to talk about it. But I think we're allowed to take breaks, but of course it seems like you can't, it's everywhere you go. So
And I think what you're explaining is a sort of being overwhelmed, right? That there's Palestine, there's executive order over here, there's this going on in Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's all these things at the same time, and so it's really hard to sort of manage sort of the overwhelming amount of information that social media brings to us. And it's kind of really hard to sort of carve that out. And then because you can't be mad at everything all the time, right? You can't be like activated about everything at every second of the day. So I feel that's what you're kind of talking about. But I will also say, and maybe we can talk a little bit about this, how has social media been impactful in activism? Do you see a shift in sort of how your generation and even mine, like the social media has really helped us to learn to be a little bit more engaged, or how we can kind of, I don't know how you define activism, what that means to you, but maybe how you protest or how you move or help something move, a political action move. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, we can connect with people in other places. We can connect with people who do have larger voices that can actually do things about some of the stuff that is affecting us. I mean, and of course, even though a lot of the others do it for show, they can also, use that we can use that to our advantage as well. People with like that, form of power. And I think that just in a way, like, yeah, of course, it kind of helps get the word out about certain things, or just, of course, if we need to stand in solidarity or organize protests and stuff like that, it can be done through social media. So there is that. But then also, like I mentioned, if someone does something that they shouldn't do, you post about it and get that person, fired, get that person put in jail, whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess in that way, social media is helpful.
Yeah, I think one of the downsides, though, outside of what we just talked about earlier, is sometimes I think for us as a culture, we say too much on social media. I think we think, well, in one way, to your point, it is a way to connect us, but then at the same time, I think what the ancestors had without social media was everybody didn't know what was going on, right? Because if we talking about we're gonna boycott Target, now everybody else, people that we don't necessarily need to know about it, they now know too. You see what I'm saying? I feel like we haven't figured out how to gatekeep well in this new era of social media where there's certain things that need to happen. But I think we have also collectively figured something out, because I'm noticing that certain actions are happening that are supposed to rile us up and make us angry, and all of us collectively are like, okay, you going take down the Black Lives Matter Plaza in DC? We already knew that was for sure. So okay, like nobody was mad. Like, oh my God. It was like, okay, I mean, that's fine. I know my life matters. So it's funny. So on the one, go ahead.
No, I was saying, like I said, it's a social experiment. So they're trying to see what will cause, will rile people up. Like even with like people televising all these plane crashes, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, like, like all of a sudden everybody's scared to fly or go anywhere. Why? Because then if they weren't scared to fly, they will be empowered to leave. Come on now, like reverse psychology. Let's be for real. So yeah.
It's so much. It's so much. All right, we're going to come to a close pretty soon, but I want to ask you 3 more questions. What issues matter to you most that you feel aren't being addressed enough? What things should we be talking about politically that you don't think are, especially for your generation? And like I said, I know y'all grown now. You're not like 19, but still, like you guys are also in your adulthood. And to me, and this is my perspective, like life is a lot harder for you, to me, than it was for me at your age. Like I feel like at your age, I had bought this house that I'm in, that you were raised in. And I feel like there's a lot of economic stuff. So what issues matter most to you that you feel aren't being addressed enough?
I think people should, well, one of the things that I feel like people don't think about enough is that just because an issue doesn't directly affect you, that it doesn't matter or need to be talked about or looked into. A lot of people feel like, and I mean, I guess me included, because I can afford to like ignore certain things because maybe they don't directly affect me at that time, doesn't mean that I shouldn't, it's not a concern. So I feel like that, and also maybe I feel like us as Black people need to know our rights more and know the things that we kind of, just a lot of the technicalities, the same way that they would do, the same way that others would do. Like if you told them something, well, technically it's not illegal. So it's like we need to be on that too. And I feel like we don't do that enough because we feel like we're conditioned to feel like, something is like, basically it's not going to go right. We're conditioned to feel like something's not going to go right, or it's going to fail, or I'm not going to do that because I don't want them to be, I don't want them to shoot me. So it's just like, no, argue, like, have that issue, have that discussion. Like some people will expect you not to. So if you do, they might back down because they're like, oh, I didn't expect her to know that. You know what I mean? So
okay.
I think that's one of the things.
And other than voting, what does real political empowerment look like for your generation? Like, are you and your friends talking about voting? Well, beyond voting, are you talking about other things? Are y'all protesting? I know you had went to that. Remember that time y'all went to that protest out here? I forgot what it was for. But like, are y'all doing stuff like that?
That's dangerous. And like I said, it's all, even that. Sometimes I feel like the outrage is created and then it's just a way to literally, again, another ploy to get people out somewhere in a mass group so that, some form of terrorism can occur. I just don't have time for that. Like even when I went the other times that I did go, it's just like, people be getting tear gassed and arrested. It's just a lot. And like, of course, that's what they kind of want, is they want you to be silent. But again, sometimes I just feel like it's not about being silent, but it's just kind of like self-preservation at this point. And I think that that's the ultimate thing. Just, there's really no, I don't know. For me, I haven't gone since the last time, and I probably won't because I don't know. It didn't do too much. I feel like that's kind of what they want. And then of course they look at it like, oh, look at these people destroying their stuff. So it's just like, it doesn't make a difference really.
Yeah. It's really interesting. It's interesting because at work today, we were talking about stuff like, okay, well, in light of what's happening, with this administration, how can we as employees, hold true to the mission of the organization. And to your point, I was the first one to say, listen, I did my dissertation on psychological safety, and you have to understand that everybody can't speak up because it costs a lot. It costs a lot for certain people to say something. And if you're not willing to take that cost on, you can't be mad at people for that, because a lot of us sacrifice either our livelihoods, our physical safety, our emotional safety, or anything. So we have to keep that in mind that, well, how come you're not saying nothing? Because it's going to cost me. I'm not willing to pay that price for that. I'm sorry, right? I have a family, or I have a life, or I might be harmed. And I don't think people realize the very real threat to people's personal safety, and it's not something to take lightly. So all that to say, though, I do really admire people that are about that will go out and stand and put their bodies on the line, because everybody can't do that. So it's an interesting sort of line, right? Like, do you do it? Do you not? But I think for you, and maybe because now like I said, your age, you're a little older now, you got things to lose. So it's like, no, I'm not going to be outside, out here on the streets. And, I have things that I'm going to have to live for. I have to be here for. So it's a really interesting thing. And I think what I will say in response to your response is we probably need to find more ways for Black women of your age to get involved beyond voting, and not necessarily, oh my gosh, I got to go outside with a sign and be on the picket line. Maybe there's other things we need to figure out where you can still, exercise your power, but it's not those two extremes. If you could say one thing, and this is the last question for the evening, if you could say one thing to the Black women in your age group who feel either politically exhausted, or like you're saying, it sounds like politically discouraged, what would you say to them, if anything?
I don't know, because I feel like I would be talking to myself. I mean, of course, like, I guess the biggest thing, like I said, is just to continue to know your rights. Like, do that research, which I feel like there was a lot more of that. But, and when I say know your rights, I guess I'm just talking about like, laws about anything from employment, like, oh, they can't fire you for this unless this, or things about just anything really. You get pulled over, what are you supposed to do? Like, I think the biggest thing is just to know how to keep yourself safe, and just, again, self-preservation. If you feel like you're politically exhausted, take a break. If you feel like you're discouraged, well, let's figure out who is discouraging you, and why is this person powerful enough to do so. So I don't know. It's hard to say, because like I said, I feel like a lot of us are rightfully so. So, and like you said, there's not a lot of ways for us to be politically involved other than to protest and just kind of yap online. So that's it. So
it's really discouraging. Oh, and I want to say, I had one of our viewers said that, you are the twin. We definitely twins. So I'm like, I just want to acknowledge that. Io is an intern that I work with, and you and her are the same age. So it's really cool. And she's like, oh my God. So she left that comment earlier, and I'm like, I know, even though honestly, I feel like you look more like your dad than me, but that's
nobody has said that, but like everybody says I look like you, literally look like you.
I think you look like your dad, and then you also look like our maternal. Well, she would be your great grandmother, my grandmother. I feel like there's a picture of her in the room, and I feel like you and her, your high school graduation picture, when I put it next, y'all to me look alike. But I don't see me in you, and I don't know. I mean, I know you, my child, but I feel like you look more like him. I don't know.
If you don't see yourself, it's this thing. Because I was telling somebody that, because one of my friends said that my sister, Jada, looks just like me too. And I don't feel like Jada looks just like me. I feel like she looks kind of like me, but not just like me. But we don't see ourselves. If you think about it, you really don't see yourself. Like, you see a recording of yourself right now. You see yourself in the mirror. You see yourself in the camera, but you don't really see yourself face to face. So you don't know how you really look. Like, I know how you really look. You know how I really look. So.
Right. Okay. Well, all right then. Well, thank you for joining me, and again, early happy birthday. I should tell people, Cash App the youngster. She's still young. She's have to get some new tires and stuff.
Do that.
She had to buy 4 new tires, and her birthday come in and all that good stuff. She'll be 28. That is wild. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you were just born like yesterday. Well, no, it don't feel like that. That's insane. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. We're going to go ahead and close out. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. You know where to find me. I have a fabulous, beautiful website courtesy of Pyro Media Network, www.NicoleDVick.com, with all the things on it, my nails, my books, my articles that I have written, all the things. Also on there, I just said that, my books. You can buy copies of my first book, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. My second book, baby, Push Through 52 Weeks of Light and Tough Times. And my anthology, Triumph in the Trenches. I forgot the subtitle, but anyway, it's about Black folk navigating the workspace. I have a chapter in that book. It is 20 something authors in that book. It's beautiful. I am on social media. I'm on the LinkedIn. I'm not on TikTok no more. I don't know. Me and TikTok just said bye-bye. I think when they shut it down for 15 minutes, I was like, whatever. But I am on LinkedIn. I'm on there more and more. So you'll see me posting now. Yay. And I'm on Instagram. All right, y'all. We will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.